Everyone to another episode of the Stretford End, and we are here right after a tentative and intensified win against Wolverhampton Wanderers at the Molineux, with our star boy Mason Greenwood getting the winning goal for us. But before we get into the review of that, let's just have a bit of a head start with transfer news. First of all, news coming out of Sky Sports and from Fabrizio Romano. Ronaldo has completed his medical in Lisbon, and of course, he will be joining up with the Portuguese national squad for the upcoming international friendlies. And secondly, also Daniel James is in advanced talks with Leeds United as he makes his permanent move out of United. So, just a quick moment with regards to Daniel James and his time at United. He has basically been what he was supposed to be, a player, good value for money, just to be a squad player. Yes, he played more than he was supposed to due to off field things, but he did what he was supposed to do. And whenever he was called to play, he done what he needed to do and stuck to the task at hand. So all the best to Daniel James if he does end up leaving the club. And he will definitely be a very good asset for Leeds United because he is a hard-working player and will definitely fit into Marco Bielsa's team. Furthermore, Amad Diallo Traore was supposed to go out on loan to Feyenoord, but that deal fell through as he got an injury in training last week, meaning that he'll be out for a couple of weeks. So the deal fell through, and that basically means that he will work up his fitness and stay with United in the first team squad, and hopefully, be a good part player for us this season. Nevertheless, moving along onto the review against Southampton, against Wolverhampton Wanderers. So, you know, it is a game that I kind of knew would be tight. I expected us to lose the midfield battle as we did. As we could have seen, Pogba struggled because he tried to cover the mistakes that Fred made. Fred was abysmal. We thought that Southampton was a bad performance, but it turned out that Wolves was even worse. There were many moments where he lost the ball, where he put us under pressure, where people like Fabio Trincao was playing his first couple of games in the Premier League in England for that matter, and he just breezed past Fred as if he wasn't even there. And it was always clear to see that even though our defense was quite strong, shout out to Rafael Varane, who had an immense debut at the back next to Harry Maguire, looked faultless. He only missed one header as far as I can tell, and other than that, he was completely a colossus at the back with Maguire. You saw the freedom Maguire had when playing. He was allowed to push more forward into midfield and to make those penetrative passes. But again, even the forward line could not receive as much ball as they wanted to because of the midfield not being able to link up. Fred is supposedly the one to control the game, play the passes, increase the tempo, decrease the tempo when needed, but it turns out he's not cut out for the job. He is the weakest link in our team with regards to the midfield, and he needs replacing. I hope that Ole saw that we need a defensive midfielder. We have one day more left to go into the market and go and get someone like Ruben Neves, who was absolutely amazing in yesterday's game. I mean, you saw for yourself how he controlled the game, how he closed down when he needed to, how he was in the correct place at the right time, how he played straight passes across the field, how he ensured that the team was ticking in counter attacks, how he quickly released the ball going forward. And look what happened when he did that. Adama Traore completely destroyed our midfield, running through it as if it wasn't even there. He completely ran past Wan-Bissaka, but still Wan-Bissaka turned out to be a very good asset for us as we saw a goal line clearance for him after, once again, Fred making the mistake, the ball ricocheting off him, Fabio Trincao making a run straight onto goal, and instead of running towards the man to push him out wide, he wants to go behind the man and to take him out and pull him down, almost causing a penalty. And then, as said, Wan-Bissaka basically ensured that he covered his bases and had the goal line clearance. David De Gea, man of the match. How can we not speak about him with a brilliant double save? And the first one is something you would expect from a goalkeeper to save at point blank range. Most goalkeepers make that save that we see from time to time. But the second one, I don't know if he had an instinct to tell him to put his hand up there. I'm not sure if he just, thought to himself, what, maybe that is where most likely the attacker would try and score, and he saved it. Absolutely beautiful. He basically was the difference between us winning and drawing that game. And that is what happened later on in the game. After that double save, I'm sure it gave the team confidence. And yes, in certain moments, the changes that was made by Ole, I found quite weird. Sancho looked a bit shaky. He was afraid not to make any mistakes. He didn't seem to take any risks, and he will get there. He will get to the tempo of the Premier League, and he will definitely be a very, very good asset for us, especially when Ronaldo does come play for us, because then you will definitely have someone to bounce off and someone to look up to on the field as well when Marcus Rashford also returns. When Martial came on, I did not see much from him, even though he had a lot of the ball. But again, he wasn't doing what we expected of him, but he was a threat, and he kind of opened spaces, with him being on the left hand side, where I feel he is a bit better. Cavani coming on as well made himself a nuisance, making runs that allowed for spaces for us when we counter attacked. Hence the reason why Greenwood got the space for his goal. Nice shimmy onto his right hand side, and then finishing it as we always know that he does. And thankful for that we managed to get that win. Lastly, I want to speak about Donny van de Beek. I don't know what is going on there. I thought he would have started the game. I wanted him to start the game in midfield alongside Fred, but it turns out Ole still hasn't played him, and we're not too sure what is going on there. Wouldn't be surprised if Donny decides to leave the club, but there are more games to come. We will see what happens as after the international break. It is the return of Cristiano Ronaldo at Old Trafford against Newcastle United. That is a game that I cannot wait for, and you will definitely have a build up to that from the Stretford end. But that is it. Thank you guys for enjoying the video. Definitely leave a like, subscribe, and share. And also leave your comments below on what you thought of the performance against Wolves. That is it from me, Sashin Johnson, your host, and the Stretford end. Goodbye.